hello to all the YPIE science research scholars. Like you, I was once a Yonkers student. I graduated from Saunders a very, very long time ago. I'm not even going to go into what year it was. None of you were born yet. I can tell you at least that much. So YPIE always feels like coming home. I'm home again, and I'm so lucky to work for a company that gives back to my hometown. But that's not why we support YPIE. At Regeneron, we support the future of science. We believe that scientists are the true heroes of society. And we are so proud to partner with YPIE because this is where the future of science is born. And this is where science heroes come to really realize and pursue their science. It is through innovative programs like the YPIE Science Research Program and this annual symposium that we, as a STEM community, come together with a common goal to cultivate and elevate future generations of scientists. The young scientists who will use their scientific powers, their superpowers, to improve our world. So you know what that means. It means this event tonight, this is a big deal. This is a big deal for the future of science. It's because of your ideas, your research, your results. Today we celebrate you. I also want to give a big shout out and thank you to this dedicated STEM community of educators, mentors, graduation coaches, parents, funders, volunteers, board members, everyone who makes this YPIE dream a reality, and who makes this YPIE experience a reality for thousands of students. And with YPIE at the center of this STEM ecosystem, I know our kids have a chance at success. I want to give you a window into why we support science research education at Regeneron. Regeneron is a leading science and technology company with an important mission: to make medicine for people with serious diseases. Our unique ability to repeatedly and consistently translate science to medicine has led to 9 FDA-approved treatments and numerous product candidates in development. This past year, our team of scientists applied their scientific and technological expertise to bring our COVID therapy to patients in just 10 months, usually a process that takes over a decade. From when the SARS-CoV-2 virus was first sequenced to receiving a regulatory authorization for emergency use last November. That's the power of science, and that's the power of people behind the science. Efforts like that would not be possible if we weren't investing in the future of science, investing in students like all of you, supporting the next generation of scientists and creating equitable pathways to careers in STEM is more than just a business imperative at Regeneron. It's actually a commitment that comes from the top of our company. As a company founded and led for more than 30 years now by physician scientists, our co-founders feel that investing in science education programs is not only smart business, it's really personal for them too. Both of Regeneron's co-founders, that is our president and CEO, Len Schleifer, and our president and chief scientific officer, George Yankopoulos, did science research in high school. And that set them on a path to wanting to devote their lives and their careers to advancing science and society. So that's where my job comes in. I get to take that commitment that comes from the top of our company and bring that into our communities. I lead social impact for Regeneron, and while I'm not a scientist, I like to think I apply a scientific lens to how we address societal challenges and finding opportunities to put our people, our resources, and our dollars at the center of driving positive social impact in our communities. That's why we partner with YPIE. As a science-driven company, we know that if we're going to sustain our ability to continue to innovate for patients, we have to focus on nurturing future talent. But we also know that society depends on science, and that has long driven our commitment to supporting young scientists who are generating the ideas that can potentially solve significant global challenges. COVID-19 has amplified why scientific talent holds the promise to solve disease and other existential threats. In the last year, science has informed nearly every facet of our lives, how we live, learn, and work, and how we would survive this devastating pandemic. The call for scientific talent has never been more compelling. At Regeneron, we know that when great minds come together to use their scientific talents to tackle challenges, we all stand to benefit. I'll end on this. I'll say it again, we are counting on you to be the scientific heroes who will pursue science to make a difference in our world. We couldn't be prouder of all of you. You all who in the face of adversity overcame incredible challenges with great resolve and resilience and grit to conduct your research. I commend this class of YPIE scholars on your relentless pursuit of science. Congratulations and good luck in all your future endeavors.
Thank you so much, Petula. All right, so we're gonna go over some quick instructions for our presentations. We're gonna get into it. You are all currently muted, and we would love to maintain this interactivity that we always have at our symposium. So we'd really like to encourage our audience to write questions, comments, compliments in the chat as much as you want. And I will moderate a very brief question and answer after a few of our presenters go. But before our presentations begin, I'd like to invite up one of our seniors, Darius, to say a few words and introduce our first presenter.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Darius Hernandez, and I'm a senior at Saunders High School. And I would like to again welcome you to our 4th annual YPIE Regeneron Symposium. Firstly, I would like to mention that here at the YPIE College Zone, we are following strict COVID-19 protection procedures provided from the CDC to ensure the safety of our students and scholars, of our scholars and staff. We are wearing masks, we're keeping social distance, and we do participate in surveillance testing. Our scholars are a part and the main heart of this program. So I would like to thank Regeneron for their generous support. It really wouldn't be possible without them. You're a part in creating a positive change for youth in Yonkers. Today, you will be seeing various projects from our research scholars that they have been working on for the years that they've been within this program. Here with us in person, as mentioned earlier, are our seniors. They have been within this program for over 3 years, but it was definitely a senior year none of us were expecting. Even with the rigorous challenges of the pandemic, our seniors continue to persevere and perform college-level research. Personally, I feel that the program has given me many opportunities to excel in my academic and personal life. So I am currently a teacher's assistant for the YPIE Science research program, and that included me developing lesson plans and working with the scholars within this program. And it is truly an amazing opportunity to see what is next within their field. And I've gotten to work with professors from various top-tier universities, and I've got to connect with experts within my field of interest, which is behavioral science. And I would also like to thank Jake for his assistance and enthusiasm throughout the time I've been within this program. So I would like to give a big round of applause and congratulations to our seniors. And again, our students are the heart of this program, and it grows every single year. From office spaces to EELs, our students have pushed the boundary of knowledge on a huge range of subjects. Lastly, I would like to thank our mentors, parents, guardians, families, friends, and scientists here to support our scholars today. It is truly amazing to see the immense support our scholars have backing them. Now, I would like to introduce Tassine to present her research projects.
Good afternoon. Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Tasneem Tasneem, and my project is on the prevalence of musculoskeletal disorders by occupational group and body region. So first, to introduce, work-related musculoskeletal disorders or musculoskeletal disorders in general are conditions of the neuromusculoskeletal system that are caused by exposure to conditions usually in work environments such as vibration, awkward postures, repetitive tasks, long work hours, and not enough recovery time. They are also very common, as according to UOSHA in 2019 alone, approximately every 3 out of 5 workers reported experiencing WMSDs. And they're also very costly, as the potential direct and indirect costs amount to $100 billion per year. So there are a lot of studies on this topic. However, a majority of them are restricted to one geographical region, such as the Middle East or the United States. They report on specific occupations like dentists or a related group like medical professionals. Or they will report on specific body regions, such as the knees or the lower back. And therefore, this was one of the first studies to observe and compare MSD prevalence across multiple occupations around the world. So again, to introduce my method of measuring MSDs was the Nordic Musculoskeletal Questionnaire, which was filled out by the participants to report every area in which they experienced musculoskeletal pain. So I compiled 9 databases from Figshare and Mendeley open access repositories, most of which originated from peer-reviewed articles. And as you could see, there are 9 data sets with 8 occupational groups and 1 reference population, all of different sample sizes and from different countries. And for the modifications and the filtering, I only kept the number of people who reported pain in specific body regions, and some data sets had additional body regions as a part of an adapted NMQ, and those were either filtered out or blended in. For the descriptive statistics, we found that from the total MSD prevalence across occupational groups, construction workers reported the highest prevalence of MSDs, followed by rice cultivators, keyboardists, and nurses, and then the least was seen in truck drivers and police officers, and truck drivers were the only group, as well as police officers, that reported less MSDs than the reference population. This stacked bar graph is meant to show the distribution of MSDs in the body across the 9 occupational groups. As you can see, I don't know if you can see the mouse, the green color at the bottom represents the neck. The yellow color above represents the shoulders, and this blue color represents the lower back, and all 3 of these regions were prevalent with MSDs throughout every occupational group. This other stacked bar graph builds on the point made in the last slide. As you can see, the lower back region had the highest prevalence of MSDs, and then the least was seen in the elbow region. To analyze for a relationship between occupational group and MSD location, I conducted multiple chi-square tests. I conducted 3 in total, 1 comparing occupational group and MSDs in the entire body, another comparing occupational group and MSDs in solely the upper body, and then 1 comparing occupational group and MSDs in solely the lower body. And all 3 tests came back strongly significant, which indicates that what occupational group you are in has a strong impact on what MSDs you experience in your body as a result. So in conclusion, I found in this study that the lower back, shoulders, neck, and wrist hands region were the body regions that were prevalent with MSDs for each occupational group, while the elbows were not prevalent in the occupational groups except for construction work. But it should be noted that construction workers have pain everywhere. Additionally, non-sedentary workers such as construction workers and nurses had higher MSD prevalence than sedentary workers such as office workers. And additionally, non-sedentary workers had more pain in their lower back, shoulders, and knees, while sedentary workers had more pain in their lower back, neck, and shoulders. The information gained from the study should be used by occupational health professionals to create more targeted WMSD prevention and ergonomic programs. And also there should be more studies investigating occupations and occupational diseases with other socio-demographic and risk factors involved or in mind, such as age, race, and gender. Additionally, there should be more studies investigating multiple occupations just generally on a global scale. I would like to thank my mentors, teachers, friends, and family for guiding and supporting me throughout this project. These are my references, and any questions you can put in the chat. Now I would like to introduce my peer who will be presenting their project, Christina Mateo. Hello, my name is Christina Mateo, and this is my project, How Parental Religiosity Affects Emotional Well-Being of Teens. So 84% of the world's population is affiliated with a religion, according to the Pew Research Center, and most religions advocate a positive outlook on life and healthy human traits, such as kindness and forgiveness. But the homophobic messages often presented in those religious views tend to cause internalized homophobia. And according to the World Health Statistics in 2016, suicide is the second leading cause of death for the ages 15 to 24. And according to a study in 2011, a negative social environment for lesbian, gay, and bisexual youth increases their risk of attempted suicide 20% over their heterosexual peers. So the problem was that there is a gap of knowledge between religion and teen mental health. And the purpose of this study is to close that gap of knowledge. In the beginning of the study, my hypothesis was that as a parent's religiosity increases, the teen's anxiety and depression symptoms will also increase. So in fewer words, a positive correlation. So 2 scales that were used in this study were the Religious Commitment Inventory 10 scale, RCI 10, and the Hospital Anxiety Depression Score. I used a 2-part survey. The first part uses the RCI 10 scale. It's 10 questions about religious practice, and it's given to the parents that participated. And in the second part of the study, I used the HADS scale, 14 questions about feelings of anxiety and depression, and given to the teen. Participants were recruited via email using word of mouth and the snowballing sampling method. Figure 1 shows the RCI 10 scale that I used, and figure 2 shows the HADS scale that I use. So overall, in the end, 50 families participated, 1 parent to 1 child. Figure 3, overall, in general, shows no correlation between parental religiosity and teen anxiety. And figure 4 also shows that there is no correlation between overall parental religiosity and teen depression. Specifically focusing on the teen participants, the teen participants were then split into 2 non-scientific groups, straight and non-straight. Figure 5 shows that there was no correlation between the group of straight teens' anxiety and parental religiosity. And figure 6 also shows that there was no correlation between the group of self-identified non-straight teens' anxiety and their parental religiosity. Figure 7 also shows that there was no correlation between the group of straight teens' depression and parental religiosity. And figure 8 also shows that there was no correlation between parental religiosity and the group of non-straight teens' depression. Again, focusing on the teen participants, figure 9 shows the percentages of the non-straight teens and the straight teens out of the 50 who participated. The majority of teens who participated in the study were straight. And figure 10 shows the specific sexualities that this study represents and shows. Figure 11, focusing on the parent participants, figure 11 shows the percentages of each religious group that is represented in the study, as well as the group of parents who identify as non-religious. And figure 12 also shows that it shows the average religiosity each religious group of parents has, as well as the group of parents who identify as non-religious. Excuse me. Sorry, it's not going to the next slide. Hi. Sure. Thank you. Sorry for that, technical difficulties. So as a conclusion, in general, teens had a higher anxiety than depression score. And those who identified as non-straight had a higher average for anxiety and depression than those who identified as straight. And overall, there was no correlation between a parent's religiosity and the teen's anxiety or depression. A limitation in my research was the number of participants that I gathered, as more participants would have made my findings more solid and credible, and would have given me a better estimate of the whole population. And in future research, I will give surveys in different formats, such as using online participation sites, and as well as include incentives for participation. I would like to acknowledge my family, Jake Schofield, Ailish, and YPIE, as well as my mentor, Shannon Doherty. I will now pass it to my peer, Jaylene.
Hi everyone, my name is Jaylee Anderson and I'm a senior from Roosevelt High School. So my research is, does technology usage determine a person's environmental concern? So previous research has shown that environmental issues are becoming a concern worldwide. For example, World Health Organization estimates 150,000 deaths a year are caused by climate change and about 9 million deaths are caused by pollution. Due to the environmental issues, there has been attempts by policymakers to try and increase environmental awareness, but it has been difficult because there's this gap in environmental concern. And by my gap, I meant there are those who are not as knowledgeable about environmental awareness, and there are those who are not willing to contribute to the environment. For example, 30% of UK consumers report their concern about the environment, but did not engage in green purchasing. So how can we bridge this gap in environmental concern? With technology. Technology is an accessible tool that raises both societal and environmental awareness. For example, social media tools are gaining importance and increasing environmental behaviors and attitudes. However, there is this lack in knowledge if technology is truly capable of increasing environmental concern. And that's where my study comes in. So my study evaluated the correlation between the time spent on smartphones or handheld devices with environmental concern to see if there was a relationship between the two. So statement of purpose and hypothesis, the problem is that policymakers are facing issues of bridging the gap in environmental concern. The purpose of my study is to determine if the amount of time spent on smartphones can increase environmental awareness. And the hypothesis is that if a lot of time was spent on apps for social media, news, productivity, and other applications, for example, Facebook or YouTube or Mine, it will increase environmental concern. So for my methodology, I did an IRB, and because the participants were underage, they had to fill out a consent form. Afterwards, they were given a Google survey, and on the Google survey, it consisted of demographic questions about their sex, race, and age. And the participants were also Android iPhone users that were required to have screen time and digital being. And screen time and digital being are just apps on your phone that shows you the amount of time you spent on your smartphone. So with using those apps, they were able to record the amount of time they spent on their smartphone for the week. So after they completed that survey, they were also given a second survey. And the second survey, they were given a code. And the code was a number assigned to the participants to keep responses anonymous. For the second survey, it was based off a validated scale called Children's Environmental Attitude Knowledge Scale, which measures their environmental concern. This validated scale was composed of two subscales, the attitude scale and the knowledge scale. The attitude scale measures how a person feels about the environment, and it was comprised of 36 questions in Likert point form. And for a knowledge scale, that measures how much a person knows about the environment, and that was composed of 30 multiple choice questions. If a participant got a correct answer, they'll be credited 6 points. Afterwards, I compared their environmental score and the average total time they spent on their smartphones to see if they have a correlation between each other. So these are my results. As you can see in figure 1, In figure 1, the correlation between the average total time they spent on smartphones versus their total environmental score was 0.477, which is a weak positive correlation, meaning that even though they spent a lot of time on their phones, they didn't have a high correlation with their environmental concern. Though it wasn't a strong correlation, let's see the breakdown of the total time into how they spent time on their smartphones and which applications were used. So these are the results for the score of attitude, how they feel about the environment. These are all my results, but I chose these two graphs because it shows major differences between each other. The correlation is on the bottom. And as you can see, the correlation between the time for social media versus the score of attitude, it's still a weak positive correlation. And in figure 3, there was no correlation between the time spent on news versus the score of attitude. So this is also results for the score of knowledge. And as you can see, again, there is a weak positive correlation between the time spent on productivity versus the score of knowledge. And in figure 5, that's a weak negative correlation between the time spent on maps versus the score of knowledge. So from discussion, there was no correlation between the time spent on apps and environmental concern. There was little to no correlation between the attitude and knowledge score. And this is also a preliminary experiment, so of course, future modifications will happen. For future research, I want to definitely have a larger sample size to collect teens and adults data. I will specify the categories. So instead of having a general category for social media, I will specify an app, for example, Facebook, and see if Facebook has a correlation between environmental concern. I would consider outside factors. So advertisements, magazines, and peers would be accounted for. And I will specify the age groups to minimize any discrepancies. So for my conclusion, the problem was that it was difficult to raise environmental concern for policymakers due to the gap in environmental concern. The goal of my study was to determine if the amount of time spent on apps for social media, maps, news, and productivity, and other applications will increase environmental awareness. Though there was little to no correlation, the future study will still emphasize its benefits in helping people make healthier choices and raise environmental concerns. These are my references. And I would like to acknowledge YPIE, Jake, my YPIE coach, Judith Waite, and my parents for making this possible and for always supporting me. Thank you. And if you have, well, now it's the Q&A, so hope you enjoy.
All right, so incredible presentations. Well done, Tassin, Christina, Jaylene, awesome. So we're gonna take just one question for each student. So if you have a question for any of the presenters, now is the time to write it. We ask that everyone write it instead of unmuting, just because it's a little simpler. So let's start with a question for Tassin. We have 2 or 3 wonderful questions here. Ooh, I'm gonna give you a hard one, Tassin, from our YPIE stats expert, Bud. So Tassin, did you look at data across time in your groups? That is, are the injuries increasing or decreasing over the last N years within some of your occupations?
Wait, you can hear me, right? Okay, cool. So with the Nordic Musculoskeletal Questionnaire, because these were data sets that I found online and I wasn't able to conduct these studies or collect this data myself, I had to really just grab what I could because this was in the middle of a pandemic. So for most of the data sets, the NMQs were reported within a specific range. So like 5 years within employment, 1 year within employment, or like within 1 year of experiencing this pain, or within 5 years of experiencing this pain. And I limited it to within 1 year of experiencing musculoskeletal pain, just because that was the way in which I could standardize it best throughout all of the 9 data sets. But there was no measure of whether or not the musculoskeletal pain was getting better or worse. That's not measured by the NMQ.
Thank you, that's great.
Thank you, great question, great answer. Question for Christina from Marley. What was the most difficult part of completing your research?
The most difficult part of completing my research was, I'll actually say 2 things. 1, converting the data, and 2, getting participants. Converting the data was a very tedious process, as I had to measure
each question and put in a number for each response that both the parent and the teen gave me. And it was also very hard for the participants to participate, as I had to also get, I encountered the challenge of getting the parents on board participating in the survey, as religion can be a very pressing matter to talk about. Yes.
Excellent. Thank you, Christina. And then we have two very great similar questions from Fatima and Doris for Jaylene. I'll ask Doris's version of the question, but they're basically the same. Would you be interested to see how outcomes would differ between people who read liberal versus conservative news outlets on their phone? Is that something you would consider relevant for future research? And maybe you can just talk about the role of politics in social media as part of your question.
I have to think about that for a while. But I guess I would consider that, because I believe that those like different opinions, they will have like different interests in what they find that they find interested in. So that may play in role too, if someone who's interested like in the environment compared to other people. So yes, I would consider that for like a future research.
Excellent. All right. So unfortunately, we have to move on, but there will be an opportunity coming up to leave more comments and questions for all of our presenters today. So thank you again to Tassin, Christina, and Jaylene. Really well done. Great job. We are going to take a moment and extend our big, huge congratulations to our incoming class of Regeneron Science Research Scholars, to our newest class of future scientists, future leaders, future change makers. We are so proud of all of you, not only for applying, but for committing yourselves to extra work in these coming years, because you are passionate about solving issues in the world. Thanks to students like you, we'll be prepared for the next pandemic, which hopefully will not come for a very long time. So please join me in a big round of applause for our incoming class of Regeneron Science Research Scholars. So proud of all of you. All right, so moving on to our next senior presenter, Adalia. She is going to be joining us virtually. So Edie, are you there?
Yes, I'm here, Jake.
All right, I will click forward. Go for it.
All right. So, hello everyone. My name is Adalia Guartan, and today I'll be presenting Is COVID-19 Increasing Pollution in Natural Areas? Introduction. So the generation of organic and inorganic waste is a direct cause of environmental degradation. And environmental degradation includes deforestation, soil erosion, air, and water pollution. Some countries stopped recycling programs in some of their cities because of the fear of COVID-19 spreading. And also, according to Zambrano Montserrat, quarantine policies have led people to shop online with home delivery, increasing trash buildup. In the US, there's been an increase in garbage from personal protective equipment like masks and gloves. And Westchester County, as we know, it was severely impacted by the pandemic, with more than 105,000 cases as of February 10th, 2021. The gap in knowledge is that although there's been an increase in waste, it isn't known how municipalities with varying rates of COVID-19 have been impacted by related pollution. Research question and hypothesis. The research question was, how has COVID-19 impacted the amount of pollution in areas with varying rates of COVID-19? And the hypothesis was that areas with high rates of COVID-19 will have more pollution than areas with low rates of COVID-19, and vice versa. So this was an observational study which looked for COVID-19 related litter, such as masks, rubber gloves, and hand sanitizer bottles. And we also looked at other types of pollution as well, such as biodegradables and plastic. Variables. The independent variable is the rate of COVID-19, while the dependent variable is the amount of pollution. The collectors. So I had family members who volunteered and received similar training to follow the protocol. So in total, there were 4 of us collecting data. Determining coronavirus rates per municipality. So total infections as of June 24, 2020 were found online, and population density was taken into consideration, as is important to COVID-19 transmission. As one knows, the more densely populated an area is, the more likely there is to be COVID-19 transmission. And the population per square mile was found on the 2010 US Census. And to find the rates, we divided infections per municipality by their population density. And these findings were recorded on Microsoft Excel, and I received help from my mentor in order to do so. So this is table 1, municipalities with a low rate of coronavirus with a cutoff point at less than 0.07. As you can see here, we have the infections per population density highlighted in order to emphasize what class type it would be categorized under. Next, this is table 2, municipalities with a medium rate of coronavirus with a cutoff point at 0.07 to 0.18. And then this is table 3, municipalities with a high rate of coronavirus. So field sites. So these sites were near lakes and streams with low, medium, and high rates of COVID-19. So I visited 4 areas in total. So I visited Harrison, which had a high rate, White Plains, which also had a high rate, Mamaroneck Town with a medium rate, and Peekskill with a low rate. So methods. I visited 9 sites in Harrison, Peekskill, White Plains, and Mamaroneck Town. And at each site, I measured out 100 feet along a trail or an area that was near a lake or a stream. And this was based on more 2005. Then I filled out a data collection sheet and assessed the type of pollution that was there. For example, whether it was biodegradables, glass, or plastic gloves. Then I filled out the rapid trash assessment observance sheets. And here are examples of trash, as you can see here. Here are more examples. So what did we find? This is graph 1, litter type by COVID class. As you can see here, we found different types of trash, such as biodegradable, cigarettes, fabric and cloth, glass, metal, plastic. And in the biodegradable category here, you can see areas with low rates of coronavirus had the most total litter. And in the cigarette category, areas with high rates of coronavirus had the most total litter. And in the fabric and cloth category, there was no difference. And then this is graph 2, COVID-associated litter by COVID class. As you can see here, there's the average of rubber gloves in the low area was 0.7, and in the high area was 0.3, and in the average of face mask overall was 0.3 for the face masks. And this is graph 3, rapid trash assessment score. As you can see here, it was similar, and it meant that my hypothesis was invalid. Conclusion, there's no significant difference noted in the amount of pollution within municipalities with varying rates of COVID-19. Limitations included time frame of a summer, and future research could be a longer time frame and more participants to count the trash. Why did the results occur? So they may have occurred because the public may have not disposed of their, the public may have disposed of their masks properly. Areas may have not been geographically distinct enough because some parks were close by to others. Masks may have not even been worn because people could have felt safe in order to not wear them while outdoors. And the park usage could have also played a major factor in the days that people could have been there. Litter could have been there before COVID-19, and the socioeconomic background could have definitely had a major effect on the towns, and it could have been a factor in how much pollution was found. As one knows, the more funding there is, the more cleaner parks there are. And here is the home value indexes listed. And I'd like to thank my mentor, my teacher, and my family for their contribution and advice. Thank you for listening. If you have any questions, please type them away in the comments. Thank you.
All right.
Hi, my name is Jocelyn Burbano, and my research is on the effect of non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs on DPPC using differential scanning calorimetry. So phospholipids are a crucial indicator used to allow for drug transfer across cell membranes. The specific lipid that I will be using is dipalmityl phosphatidylcholine, otherwise known as DPPC, which has a natural melting point of 41 degrees Celsius. So several things do affect DPPC's melting point, including solubility, pH, and in this case, lipophilicity. The issue is that non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs, or NSAIDs, are part of 5 to 10% of medications administered to people, usually very popular amongst people with pain and inflammation. So due to this popularity and its continued use, there needs to be research dedicated to the improvement of drug delivery. Some examples of NSAIDs are Advil, Tylenol, and even Voltaren. So my aim is that understanding the physical stabilities of these molecules can further improve drug distribution by pharmaceutical companies to maximize their performance in vivo. And I hypothesize that if there's an increase in the concentration of acetaminophen, diclofenac, ibuprofen, and caffeine, then there will be a decrease in DPPC's melting point. So for my methods, this is the differential scanning calorimeter. And in the sample pan, at a specific concentration of the drugs, they will be added to with the DPPC and melted at a specific point, and that point will be captured by the machine itself. And then at that point is what is going to be measured for the data to be collected. So for acetaminophen, which is Tylenol, we can see a gradual which results in around 41 degrees Celsius at 0% acetaminophen. However, as we see that there's an increase in the concentration, there's a decrease from that 41 degrees Celsius as we increase in the concentration of acetaminophen. For caffeine, although the trend is very minuscule, it's still happening where as we increase in concentration of caffeine, then there is a decrease in DPPC's melting points. For NA-ibuprofen, the same gradual trend happens. However, it's a little bit more dramatic than the previous two examples. However, as more NA-ibuprofen is added to the system of DPPC, the melting point decreases. For NA-diclofenac, it is important to understand the width of the peaks specifically, as well as the gradual trend of, obviously, the melting point, from the natural melting point of DPPC decreasing as more of the NA-diclofenac is added to the system. And the width of the peak also indicates how long it took to melt the substance. So from my principal findings, my hypothesis is supported, and the melting point is lowered as each drug is increased in concentration. So also the width of the peaks are also essential in displaying how long DPPC took to melt. So there's another impact happening from that these NSAIDs had on the DPPC. So lipophilicity does affect DPPC in an inverse relationship. So as lipophilicity increases, melting point decreases. Lipophilicity is the way a drug interacts in a hydrophobic and hydrophilic environment, thus indicating the higher the effect it is in this environment, the more it changes the environment, essentially causing the melting point to decrease. So for my implications, I wanted to, due to the COVID circumstances, I wanted to do the effects of NSAIDs on model infected membranes, such as lysophospholipid, but I wasn't able to. So it is hypothesized by the Lancet Medical Journal that NSAIDs could increase an enzyme that could aggravate COVID-19 symptoms. And so the lysophospholipids and the model infected would act as a model infected membrane, thus indicating people who have COVID-19 and also the effect of enzymes on people who have COVID-19. I would like to thank my family, my friends, my mentor, Dr. Sung-Hee Lee, my YPIE graduation coach, Claudia P. Martinez, our amazing teacher, Jake Schofield, our college director, Ann Daniel, and many of the Regeneron researchers. I will now introduce the next researcher, Michael Slattery, to present his work.
Hi everyone, my name is Michael Slattery and my project was A Meme a Day Keeps the Doctor Away, How Laughter Affects Emotions. So to get it started, previous studies show that humor induces positive emotional changes and the occurrences of laughter increase overall satisfaction with conversations. Laughter is highly social and contagious, and humor is communicative behavior that calls for closer participation than most other forms of group behavior. So the literature that I based my research on was Sharing the Joke, the Size of Natural Laughter Groups. Basically, 450 groups of people were secretly observed from a distance of 5 meters in bars across the UK. And this study found that laughter was experienced in most groups of about 4 people. So how do we modernize this topic? We can introduce memes. Most of you have seen memes on like Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, and they're mostly like short videos that have, most of them have the same punchline at the end. And according to Merriam-Webster, a meme is an idea, behavior, or style that spreads from person to person within a culture, often with the aim of conveying a particular phenomenon, theme, or meaning represented by the meme. So here's an example of a meme. You see Kanye West is not happy that coronavirus is spreading. This is a meme from the start of COVID, but we could all relate to it. So what is the problem? The problem is that there's a lack of prior studies researching the effects of group size and laughter on emotions using memes. So my two questions were, first, does meme-induced laughter improve emotions? And second, does group size affect the degree of emotional response? My hypothesis is that laughter in an individual setting will positively increase mood, and laughter in a group setting will have a larger effect on that mood. So I used a brief mood introspection scale. It was 16 mood adjectives like happy and sad, and it just measured if your mood was positive or negative based on a before and after. And research memes, Instagram was created by me and Jake. It followed 24 meme pages such as funny memes and honey, and it was screened for appropriate content, and it was used to find memes that cover a blanket of humor types. Here's an example of the BMIS scale. So my methods, 24 participants were gathered randomly. It was a diverse sample of 14 to 18-year-olds. So first, individually, one by one, they would come into a study room. They would first take a pre-BMIS survey. Then they would scroll through Instagram on a phone for about 5 minutes. And then once those 5 minutes were up and they were laughing and satisfied, they would take a post-BMIS survey. About a week later, they were all placed into groups of 4 to 5 people. And once again, those 4 to 5 people were brought into a study room. They each took a pre-BMIS survey. Then as a group, they scrolled through Instagram together. They laughed together, had a jolly good time, and then they went through the post-BMIS survey. So here are my methods together. Once again, individual and then group. So here are my results. As you can see across the board, based on the red, there was way more laughter in a group setting rather than individually. And there was the biggest changes were in the positive tired groups and the pleasant unpleasant scale. So based on these graphs, we see there is no correlation between laughter vocalizations and the changes in between the before and after, and the same thing for negative relaxed scale. So to discuss, as memes become more popular in youth culture, it is important that we take the positive correlated effects of laughter into consideration to improve the well-being of young people. And this is helpful as most people use their phones and view social media, which often causes laughter. To conclude, overall laughter increases a positive frame of mind. If there's a humorous interaction within a group setting, then positive emotional response will be amplified. And this research is especially important due to the high amount of time spent independently on electronics, especially during the pandemic, and the high rate of depression in teens. So here are my references. A special thank you to my family, Jake Schofield, Ailish, and YPIE. And that was A Meme a Day Keeps the Doctor Away, How Laughter Affects Emotions. Next, we're going to go back to Jake for a quick Q&A. Thank you.
Great job, Michael. All right. Let's give it up again for Edie, Jocelyn, and Michael. That was awesome. Let's see what questions we have for them. I hope we can stump them. Wow. All right. Some good questions. Let's start with, let's start with, okay, I don't see anything for Edie yet. So Jocelyn, lots of good questions. Let's start with this one from Akram. Jocelyn, how do you think Lipo Felicity affects the width of the peaks and the rate of melting?
Well, the width of the peak, well, it's clear that lipophilicity has this direct effect as it changes the composition of it, of the drug, because the reason why this occurs is because a drug needs to change the way the cell membrane is, ultimately to allow for the drug to permeate through it. So there's definitely going to be a change in the melting point as well as the width, as more of this drug is being introduced into the system. Therefore, I believe that there's a decrease in the melting point because of more of the concentration. However, the width of the melting point is going to be much more difficult to explain because I didn't really go into that. However, I do know that as more of the concentration of the drug is added, the widths do get larger in peaks.
Thank you, Jocelyn. Excellent. Let's actually ask a question for Darius, who we have here. Darius, what experiences have you gained after transitioning from just being a student to now being a student teacher assistant?
So it definitely was a big transition from coming to a student to being TA, but it's something that I do love and that Jay gave me the amazing opportunity to pursue. So I do work with mainly sophomores and juniors with helping them with their research projects, and of course getting them ready for this big event that we call the Symposium, and for other competitions as well. So I really love giving my knowledge that I've learned throughout the 3 years to my students.
Excellent. Thank you, Darius. All right. Any last questions for Edie or Michael? I see one for Michael. Good question. Did you consider the impact of types of memes or size of the group on laughter, Mr. Michael?
I did consider the size of groups on laughter, but there was just no significant correlation to show in this study. And definitely the type of memes that were shown or the type of humor definitely could have affected my data. So if I ever pursue with this project again in the future, it's definitely important to try to separate it by groups to get a more clear and concise answer to my question.
Thank you, Michael. And Edie, I will ask you the question that all of our current research students love to ask, but are being shy about asking right now. What do you think was the hardest part about your project, Edie?
I think the hardest part eventually was actually having to make actually having to go out there and actually collect the data. It was fun, but also having to go out there and then also take into consideration what's actually occurring around me as well, making sure to stay safe while collecting the data as well. I couldn't actually grab the garbage off of the floor, off of the ground, unfortunately. So I'd say that's definitely the hardest part.
Right. Research in the time of COVID is something else. But we are so proud of all of you on your projects. Really, really, really impressive. So let's give it up one last time for Edie, Jocelyn, and Michael, as well as our other senior presenters, Tassine and Christina and Jaylene, as well as Darius and Maria, who could not be here today. So I'm going to just do a quick celebration of our amazing seniors because they have been kind of robbed of a normal high school year. And so I think we can all take a moment and just celebrate them one last time. We're celebrating all of our science research students today, but we really, really want to give it up to our 8 very special seniors, class of 2001, scholars, the class of 2025, the year that they're going to graduate college, and our trial 2 of this great science research experiment. I really can't say enough how proud I am of all of you guys. Your presentations this afternoon are exemplary of how hard you work, and I think after seeing all of your presentations, everyone who's here this afternoon can share in this enthusiasm and pride that we feel for the work that you're doing. You are the next generation of scientists, simple as that. And beyond your obvious intelligence, you are resilient, you are all kind, and you are leaders. You are multilingual, multi-talented leaders, and you're going to raise up everyone who surrounds you. So I could obviously ramble about all of you all for a long time, but I'm going to keep it short. I even made notes, so I can definitely keep it short. Look at them growing up. But I will keep this very brief, and then we're going to move on to our juniors and sophomores. So we're going to start with Maria, who unfortunately was not able to make it today. I've shared everyone's application quote when they applied 3 years ago, so you can see a little throwback there and some old pictures. So Maria, even though you're unable to join us this evening, just know that you are one of the strongest, most resilient students I've ever encountered, and you definitely win the most avid reader award. I remember when we met in October and I asked what you were doing for fun, and you said, reading Dostoevsky, and you held up this book, not even for school. We will miss you very much next year. Jaylene, how I will miss your laugh, Jaylene. Your various laughs, really. You have a laugh of sarcasm, a laugh of disgust, a laugh of warmth, and you're always so sincere, and you're always just lighting up a room with your joy. I will really miss our very distinct rapport, and I hope that you won't miss my bad jokes too much next year at Sarah Lawrence. You are YPIE's you are one of YPIE's most involved students. I don't think there is a major that you didn't do. And everything you put your mind to, you've accomplished. And I know you're going to have a wildly successful career as a writer or a scientist or a filmmaker or whatever you put your mind to. So congrats. Christina, it has been so wonderful to get to know not only you, but your entire family these past few years. And what an adventure it has been. You are so kind and nurturing, always eager to help me or the younger students with their work. You're always offering to help as the friendly neighborhood senior, as you like to say, giving endless encouragement and endless feedback. You have totally helped cultivate this environment of collaboration and respect in our science research community. And I know you're going to create this sense of community wherever you go. It's a really special gift that you have. Regeneron Day. All right, Christina. Michael. Michael, your dry humor has always been years ahead of its time. It was very appropriate that you did a project on how laughter affects emotions because you already really knew the answer to that. It's the reason that people are so drawn to you. You make them very happy through your sense of humor and your laughter. And while your work output definitely ebbed and flowed at times, you never stopped being just a great human being. Your positivity, your perspective, and your just calm demeanor were a real crucial part of our classroom culture. And I'm very grateful to you for that. Don't ever stop laughing. Don't ever stop spreading joy. Memes forever. Edie, I remember when you presented, I remember when you hated presenting more than anything else in the whole world. And perhaps you still hate presenting, but you are so good at it. And you, on top of that, are our collective design guru. Your eye for detail and composition and color has helped all of us improve our posters and presentations, mine above all. So while everyone in this class completed one amazing project, you actually completed 2 amazing projects. And it was so brave and so just typical of you to switch gears entirely once the pandemic hit and focus on a different project because of your desire to help people and understand more. I hope you never lose that instinctual desire to just do good in the world and be so kind. Oh, this is you submitting to STS this year. Congrats again on that. Give it up for Edie. All right, Mr. Darius, what can I say? You are one of the most enthusiastic YPIE scholars of all time. And you initially went from being enthusiastic about socializing and enthusiastic about trying to avoid all the work at the old college zone, but now you have blossomed into enthusiastically taking advantage of every single opportunity given to you. And you work so hard. Your zest for life, your social skills, your persistence, it is truly astounding. You've been a great TA this year, a leader, a friend, and an example to so many of our students. Thank you for everything and best of luck next year at Albany, where you're going to be starting with 12 science research credits. Woohoo! Tassine, first of all, I want to thank you, Tassine, for introducing me to BTS. Wow. It has changed my life forever. So, wow. Few people work harder or sleep less than you, Tassine, and even fewer can make it look so easy. You never get stressed or mad, even that one time that I left your poster in Yonkers at the Westlake competition. Good times. You've charmed countless mentors and professionals with your very sharp wit and your subtle sense of humor. And you've been through endless ups and downs this year, but you've always remained steady and focused on your goals. And I cannot wait to see what amazing things you accomplish in your future. All right, Jocelyn, always so kind, always so sincere. Your enthusiasm and your passion for your research was unwavering all 3 years. And your mentor, Dr. Lee, would 100% agree. We would talk all the time about how you are just a go-getter. And while many students have struggled to fill time in their 5-minute presentation slots, you would often wax poetic about your topic for 15, 20, 60 minutes until I was like, oh, all right, Jocelyn. I loved watching you step into a leadership role this year as you taught some of our classes. You are such a natural teacher, and your baby sister is very lucky to have you as a role model and an example of how much can be accomplished even before finishing high school. And I know you're going to continue to do great things long into the future. So congratulations again to the most resilient, bravest class ever. You guys survived high school, which is a challenge, and you survived a global pandemic. So big props to you all, and we're going to miss you a lot. All right, enough about the seniors, right? We are going to now introduce the next generation of scientists, our juniors and our sophomores. They have also been working so hard on their projects. And since there's so many of us, we're not going to be able to hear from everyone. But what we've done this year is actually, sorry, not you, said loudly. We have created a website featuring all of our student projects. And I'm going to ask that one of our YPIE tech assistants, please just post this link in the chat. So all of our junior and sophomore projects are displayed here, as well as our senior projects. And we'd encourage every audience member today to please check out these projects. They have their abstract, they have the full presentation up there, and then we have a recording of the presentation. So we're going to hear from our juniors and our sophomores just as they quickly introduce their topic. One of the hardest things about being virtual is we miss the interactive nature of these events. So we're going to ask that everyone please take the time to open up a student's project, one or two, or as many as you want. Look through, check out the name of their research, their abstract. You can watch their video if you.
Hello, my name is Ariana Cambiero, and today.
And please, hit the like button down here. I've already liked this one, so I can't do it again. And if you scroll all the way down to the bottom, if you could take a moment to leave a comment, a comment or a question. Why did you choose this topic, for example? This is at the very bottom of the page. And when you publish your comment, just make sure you are publishing as a guest. And you will have to confirm that you're a human, which hopefully will not be too challenging. And you'll see your comment down below. So we can kind of still foster this interactive nature of the symposium. And the students will be more than happy to get on here and reply to your questions and reply to your comments. So without further ado, I'm gonna turn it over to our students to introduce their topics, and we will take it from there. All right, Ariana, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. So, hello everyone. My name is Ariana Cambiero, and I'm currently a junior at Yonkers Middle High School. And my research is about the impact of virtual ABA therapy on parental attitudes in ABA students' learning. And please feel free to leave any comments or questions in the comment section of my presentation. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Autumn, and I'm a junior at Yonkers Middle High School. And my topic is YPIE markedly exaggerates neurodegeneration in a mouse model of telepathy.
Hello, everybody. My name is Edwin Cortazo, junior at Saunders High School. In my experiments, the Ash conformity effect within a virtual environment. You guys are free to leave any comments and I can answer any questions. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Emily Montez, and my project is Advancing Methods of Assessing Bone Quality to Expand Screening for Osteoporosis. Feel free to leave any comments or questions.
Hi, my name is Gabriel Veras. I'm a junior at Saunders High School, and my project is a single session gamified virtual reality exposure therapy for spirophobia. Please don't hesitate to leave any questions or comments.
My name is Gian Telemaco. My research topic is about attitudes towards cybersecurity and cybercrimes among businesses. Feel free to leave any comments or questions down below.
Hi, my name is Jaden Halevi, and my research is on a novel natural language processing approach for analyzing late fee terms and condition agreements. If you have any questions, just be sure to leave them below.
Hi, my name is Kamika Duplessis. I'm a junior at Yonkers High, and my research is on the connection between intraviruses and type 1 diabetes and how that affects race, age, and gender. If you have any comments or questions, you can leave it down below.
Hey guys, my name is Kevin Omen. I'm a junior at Yonkers High, and my topic is about dietary effects and cognitive thinking for pilots.
Hello, my name is Sean Vargas Garcia, and I am a junior at Yonkers High, and my research study is on the effect of gender on the diagnosis of Lennox-Gastaut syndrome. Please feel free to ask questions in the comments and like it.
Hello, my name is Sydney O'Malley, and I'm currently a junior at Roosevelt High School. My research is titled Cognitive Skills Affected by Contact Sports, the Long-Term Effect of Repeated Head Trauma as an Adolescent. I would really appreciate if you checked out my project page and left some likes and comments. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Tanya. I'm a junior at Yonkers High, and my topic is how local culture affects obstetricians' emergency decision-making.
Awesome. Let's give it up for our YPIE junior research scholars. Really incredible research. I'm sorry we don't have time to show it all off today, but please, please check it out. All of them have videos up there, presentations, abstract, and they would definitely appreciate some comments, feedback, and questions. Moving on to our sophomores. Alexander, are you there?
Hey, Jake, I'm here.
Excellent.
All right. Hello, my name is Alexander Rios. I'm a sophomore at Yonkers Middle High School. My research is sneaker innovation and technology on the well-being of seniors, and I look forward to seeing your comments and questions. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Amaya Torres. I go to Yonkers High School, and the title of my research is the connection between cognitive skills and stimulant users.
Hello, my name is Anaya, and I go to Saunders High School. My topic is on the effects of K-pop music on people's mood, behavior, and self-esteem. Please feel free to like, share, and comment or leave any questions on my project page. Thank you.
I believe Asia is having technical difficulties. Are you there, Asia? Well, Asia's project is also awesome, so please go ahead and check it out. And we'll move on to Daniel.
Good evening, everybody. My name is Daniel Alex, and I'm a sophomore at Yonkers High School. My research project is on the relationship between DECT1 and allergies. Please feel free to check out my project, and please like, comment, and leave any questions if you have any. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Elizabeth Ozipoku, and I'm from Saunders, a sophomore at Saunders, and my presentation is on delayed gratification and levels of income. So please like and don't be afraid to comment. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Elizabeth Samuel. I'm a sophomore at Yonkers Middle High School, and I'm researching the connection between atopic dermatitis and mental health issues.
Hello, my name is Gianni, and I go to Saunders High School, and my research is on the effect osteogenesis imperfecta has on muscles.
Hello, my name is Jarl Arity, and my research is on the robotic terrain adaptability in foreign unknown environments. And I'm from Yonkers High School. Please feel free to check out my page.
Hi, my name is Julia Azulay. I go to Yonkers High School, and my research title is Comparing the Impact of Invasive Tree Species on Neighboring Plant Species in a Native versus Non-Native Range. Feel free to check out my science page and leave comments or questions. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Malaka Jamai. I'm a sophomore at Saunders High School, and my topic is on feeding community through hydroponics on a science barge. Feel free to check out my page and leave any comments or questions.
Hi, I'm Naomi, and I'm from Gordon High School, and my research is on the effects of higher doses and more frequent use of evolocumab in diabetics. Feel free to leave any comments or questions on my project page. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Narali Yurti, and my research is on the effect of Aquaporin expression on Plasmodium development. And if I have no idea what that means, then you should probably check out my project and leave any comments or questions if you have any.
Hi, my name is Swapna. I go to Yonkers Middle High School, and my research is on the effect of dopamine production and the occurrence of CRS as a side effect of immunotherapy. And if you're interested, feel free to go check out my research post and like, share, and comment.
Hello everyone, my name is Yasmin and I go to Gorton High School, and my project is on the effects of fatty acid oxidation on chronic kidney disease. Please feel free to leave any comments or questions on my page. Thank you.
Hello everyone, my name is Jocelyn Sanchez. I'm a sophomore at Saunders High School, and the title of my research is Knowledge, Attitudes, and Practice of Medicinal Plants Among the Community of Yonkers, New York. Please feel free to check out my page and leave any questions and comments. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Zoe Mullings. I'm a sophomore at Roosevelt High School, and my project's on hydroponics as an innovative technique for crop growth, a comparison study between geoponic and hydroponic systems. Feel free to check out my page if you're interested.
All right, so let's give it up for our YPIE sophomore projects and their incredible hard work. I would really, really encourage everyone to check it out. I forgot to mention earlier, you can also share these amazing pages with people. There is a share option. So please go ahead and do that. All of these students worked so hard on these projects. They explained them beautifully in the videos that they uploaded. Here are the links to share. You can share directly to Facebook. I know all the young people love using Facebook still. We got Twitter and we got a regular old link. So that is it for our student presenters. We are going to conclude with some remarks by a former research student who is now in her second year at college. So let's give it up for Citlali Rojas.
So, hi everyone. As Jake said, my name is Citlali Rojas Huerta, and I am a rising junior at Trinity College in Hartford, Connecticut. I graduated from Yonkers High School in 2019, along with the YPIE Regeneron STEM program. Those of you who are taking the program now, I think it's a lot of reading and writing, that Jake is a terrible teacher, etc., you know, all the good stuff. However, looking past all that, this program will truly benefit you in the long run. Take it from me as someone who is still doing research even after this program in college. In this program, I learned how to read a research paper, how to collect and analyze data, and practice my presentation skills. Starting off with the basics, like how to read a research paper, is very important because it will help you understand the layout of what you're reading. It can also help you save time if you have more than one research paper to read. Once you decide what your topic is, you'll have to figure out a way to collect and analyze the data, and that is no easy task. If someday you decide to write a thesis or do research with a professor, you will help aid in this data collection processes. I know you guys are all on Slack and all the messages that you receive from him bugging you about having to present. This is the one time I'll say that it's probably a good idea to listen to him when you have to present. Practicing your presentation skills will only make you stronger and more confident in yourself. I know it sounds daunting having to present in front of a lot of people, but trust me, after you present for the first time, you'll realize how capable and talented you are at this. Lastly, being a part of this program allowed me to expand my social network. After 2 years in the program, I got to meet a lot more people like my mentor, Mr. Matthew Rafici, and met even more people through the people I already met. All the connections that you guys make will stay with you through college and beyond. In life, you never know what'll come at you, so it's comforting to have all of these connections as a foundation. Looking back at my time in this program, like being nagged by Jake, spending hours with my mentor analyzing data, spending hours fixing my presentation, being at WESF presenting in front of scientists, I would go back and do it again because of what I learned, the connections I made, and with all the people I've met. Hard work really does pay off in the end, and this program definitely has its rewards. So congrats to everyone for completing another school year, for surviving this pandemic, and special congrats to the seniors. You guys are all amazing, and don't let anyone tell you any different. Thank you.
All right, lots of compliments in there. That's great. And I want to embarrass Citlali real quick by showing everyone she just got her first research paper published, which is so cool, at the American Chemistry Society, I think that's right. A huge journal. So big shout out to Citlali. So we are gonna end it there. I want to give one big last round of applause to all of our science research students, the old ones, the seniors who are getting out of here until the next adventure, and the newest ones who are just starting, and all the work that you guys have done in between, the sophomores and juniors. Everyone did such an incredible job, and we are all so proud of you. So one last round of applause, and we will end it there. Thank you all so much.